More than 35 million adults in the U.S. have chronic kidney disease, yet as many as 90% of them are unaware of their condition. Type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure are responsible for up to 2/3 of kidney disease cases. The It Takes Two initiative urges people to advocate for complete testing to help identify CKD and aim to reduce the potential for long-term complications. Joining me with more is Dr. Charles Vega, along with Thelma, a two-time kidney transplant recipient. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elle. That was a great background.
Well, thank you so much. This is really important information. So, Dr. Vega, we're going to start with you. Can you explain exactly what chronic kidney disease is?
Sure. So chronic kidney disease implies dysfunction of the kidneys over time. And unfortunately, the kidneys over time, as they get damaged, they don't act as the main filtration system for the bloodstream anymore, which is their primary purpose. That causes things to go awry. Blood pressure goes up. Toxic metabolites and inflammation in the body increase, and that leads to not only a higher risk of kidney transplant or dialysis, which are really tough outcomes, but also heart attack and stroke as well. So one thing I would love for your audience to understand is that as chronic kidney disease rises, so does the risk of cardiovascular disease. They really go in parallel. So identifying kidney disease early allows us to treat both more effectively.
Yeah, and who is really at risk of developing chronic kidney disease, and why is early testing really so important?
Great. So about 2/3 of folks with chronic kidney disease have either diabetes or hypertension. So these are the most common disease states we see. And so I really recommend that everybody with either hypertension or diabetes get a urine test and a blood test. You need both tests, urine and blood, at least annually because they carry one of these high-risk conditions. About 1/3 of folks with CKD don't have hypertension or diabetes. So if you have a family history of chronic kidney disease, you have pre-existing cardiovascular disease, you need to be tested for CKD as well. Why? Because earlier treatment begets better outcomes.
Yeah, you just mentioned it. Early detection is really key. So tell us more about the It Takes Two campaign.
Right, so that's why we're here today. So it's a great partnership with folks like Thelma, who's an outstanding advocate, along with Boehringer Ingelheim and Lilly, just trying to raise awareness. If you go to testyourkidneys.com, you can evaluate your own risk profile for CKD and talking points that you can use with your clinician.
And Thelma, how did you find out that you have CKD?
Well, it took nearly a decade, unfortunately, for me to find out that I had CKD. When I presented to my primary care office with fatigue and swelling, they often tend to push that off to other conditions, and that's what happened. And then when I was diagnosed, everything spiraled out of control with my type 2 diabetes I started to have, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And what you have to understand is that the kidneys are a very interconnected organ that plays on these conditions called cardio kidney metabolic conditions. So now I'm dealing with those issues on top of living with chronic kidney disease.
And so you just said it took you a decade to really figure out that you have CKD. So what advice would you tell people at risk of CKD?
Anyone at risk of CKD, please talk to your doctor. That's why this It Takes Two campaign is so important, because it does take you and the doctor to discuss you having questions about your kidneys. It also takes the two tests, the blood test and the urine test. The urine test, not only does it tell you about your kidney disease risk factors, but also your cardiovascular risk factors. Knowledge is power. I want you to advocate and become true stakeholders of your health. I want you to go to testyourkidneys.com. There is a wealth of knowledge and information there. We want to be proactive, and we want you to have early detection so we can prevent the complications like myself, 2 kidney transplants and a round or 2 of dialysis. So let's get on top of this, test, become advocates, and please talk to your doctors. That is the key, speaking with them and asking for the 2 tests.
Absolutely. Thelma, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story. But Dr. Vega, really, what is the key takeaway that you'd like our audience to remember?
Well, I just wanted to thank as well Thelma for being such a strong advocate and change agent. And she's absolutely right. I love when patients go to websites, trusted sites like testyourkidneys.com, and come to me with questions about their health. And it's something we can discuss together. It really advances things. And I just love the fact that they're engaged with their own health. So testyourkidneys.com is the resource to use.
All righty. Thank you both so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.